Hello guys, my name is Sagar Agarwal and I am going to teach you about the subarrays in the arrays, right? Let me just type here subarrays, subarrays, right? Let's first see what do we mean by subarrays, right? So the definition of the subarrays is such that any contiguous part of an array is called as subarray, right? So let's just see this practically. What do I mean by this? First of all, let's consider an array int a with some elements, say 1 2 3 and 4, right? So any contiguous part of an array is called a subarray by the definition. What do I mean by this practically is 1 isn't part of this array, right? And it is contiguous, right? So this is in subarray. Any individual element that is the part of an array will be in subarray of this array, right? Similarly, the contiguous parts, like this is in continuous part, this is in continuous part, this is in continuous parts. What do I mean is 1 2 1 2 3 and 1 2 3 4. This is in continuous part of this array, so all of them are subarrays, right? But what do I mean by non-contiguous part of an array, right? That won't be in subarray. What do I mean by that is we can see that 2 3 4 is in contiguous part of this array. That means this is in subarray. But if I don't consider 3, I simply consider 2 4. As we can see that 2 and 4 are not the contiguous part of this array. There are some other elements between them which is not here, right? So this is not in subarray, right? So for any array to be an subarray of some parent array, it is required that all the elements in this array are continuous elements in the parent array, right? That means it would be an subarray, right? So let's just I will just write all the possible subarrays of this array, right? So all the possible subarrays for this array are 1 1 2 1 2 and 3, 1 2 3 and 4, 2 2 3 3 comma 4, 3 3 comma 4, 4. Yeah, that's it. So all these are the all possible subarrays from this given array. So let's just build up some problem, which is that we have to write a program to print all the subarrays of a given array, right? So what we will have to do is we will have to take input from the user as n, which will describe the number of elements in the array, and then we have to take n inputs, which will be the elements in that array, and for that given array we will have to print all the subarrays in new line, right? So take your time and think of the solution. In the meantime, I will also think of the solution, and later I will show you the process how to code. Thank you. Yes, so I think you all must have think of the solution, and one of the most easiest solution and brute force kind of solution which you all must have think of to print all the subarrays is will be right. Let's consider the array given by the user is uh, A which have elements say 1 2 3 and 4, right? So to print all the possible sub arrays of this array, we will keep two pointers, say I and j, right? And I will declare I with 0 and j as I. So we will have two loops basically. I will just write the loops for int I equals to 0, I is less than n, where n equals to number of elements, or you can say size of array, right? I plus plus, and then I will have another loop for int j is equals to I, j is less than n, j plus plus, right? Now uh, let's see what will this do, right? So initially I and j will be both at pointing here, right? So as we have seen, all the possible sub arrays of this array will be 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 minute. Let me just type it clearly so I can explain you better. Right, so these are the all possible sub arrays of this array, right? So as you can see, when I will do this, the first element, if I will do cout, which will get printed is 1, as I and j both will be pointing here, right? So I have got my first sub array, and when the value of j will get incremented for the initial value of I equals to 0, j will move here, right? So this will be my second sub array, and when j will get incremented again, this will be my third sub array, and then j will get incremented again, and this will become my fourth sub array, and then the value of I will be incremented and j will become equals to I, 2 will become my next subarray. Similarly, all the subarrays can be printed out, right? So we will have just to wait and let's see the code. Yeah, so one thing more guys, what before writing the code, let me just explain you what are we going to code. So I hope these two loops are clear to you, but we will also have to write the third loop. What do this third loop will do is int k is equals to I, and k will be less than j and k plus plus, right? So what will this loop do is this will keep the track of elements between I and j. So suppose I is here and j is here, so it will first print 1, it will then print 1 2, and it will then print 3, it will then print 4, right? So it will keep the track between all the elements, right? So this is what this third loop is going to do. So the complexity of this program is going to be order of n cube, right? So let's just go and write some code, right? Okay, so let me just make up some psyche subarray print dot cpp, right? So let's add some boilerplate code here. Yeah, so first of all I will take the input n from user, and then I will make some arrays, say of size 100. Yeah, and then I will take the input for these elements, right? Yeah, so input is done. So Now let's work upon printing all the subarrays. So as we have seen, we will have to write three loops. First loop is I, and I is less than n here, and then we will have to write j, and j will be equals to I, and j will be less than n, and yeah, one thing, j plus plus, right? So, and another loop, int k is equals to I, k, yeah, k is less than equals to j basically, and k plus plus, and see out a of k, yeah, and let's say some space between them, or you can separate them through commas, yeah, and one handle to keep the separation between the subarrays. And now let's just run this program. Yeah, so my terminal is here. Let's say there are four elements, 1 comma 2 3 and 4. Yeah, so as you can see, all the subarrays are here: 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 2 2 3 2 3 4 3 3 4 and 4, right? Let me just show you here what I have done. Yeah, so you can see 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 2 2 3 2 3 4 3 3 4 and 4. Yeah, so the code is working perfectly fine. We have printed all the subarrays. So that's it for this video. If you have any problem, comment down below. I will hope to try to solve your query as soon as possible. Thank you guys. See you next video.